now we will look at how to purchase a ticket on SBB. So we go to sbb.com again, and now we go to the timetable. So now we want to go from Zurich. So we're going to start from Zurich, and we're going to go to, let's say we want to go to Lugano, and we search for connection. Now we can see all of the connections here, and we can see their prices over here, and we can see a description of the journey. So we can see that it's an intercity, and we can see how full it's supposed to be, and we can also see what types of things are available on the train car. So this one has a restaurant, a family zone, a business zone, free surfing, which is the internet, and also, yeah, you can see down here the what the symbols mean. So the quiet zone, this is only in first class. The business zone is also in first class. Also, you need to do a reservation for bicycles, and also it is possible to reserve a spot. When we expanded it here, you can then see all of the different stops along the way. And so then you can also see what platform that you're going to be on and how busy it is at each of these different locations along the way. You can also see it on the map, print it, or enter it into your calendar, and then you can purchase tickets here. You can also see up here how long it's going to take, what platform it's going to be on. So we want to look at a different one now. So we want to put this up. And now we want to look at the different options that we have. So now we have a Eurocity one. So this one is going to be a much longer train. It goes further than Lugano, but we're going to stop earlier on here. So you can look here and you can see, okay, yeah, now this one goes through less stops. Maybe that's what you want. And it's a little bit longer actually. So that might not be what you want. And then you can also see that there's an interregio, but this one has a stop. So this means that you have to change, and you can show it on the map where you have to change. So you can see the track that you're going to start on. So this is where you're originally going to end up here, track 4, and then you're going to want to go to track 5. So you can get a little bit of an idea of where to go. Artgoldau is an interesting station because you kind of have this separated by a triangular shaped platform right here, and then you have some more tracks over here and some over here, and in the middle you have the triangle, and there's a little shop in the middle. So you get an idea of where you need to go, how you need to do your walk, and so you can even choose this option if this works out for the time and you don't mind having a change in the middle. Then you go to the EC, which is actually the same direction as the other EC that we already looked at. So, and you can see later options, you can see later connections, and you can also see that there are some discounted ones here. So you can look for some discounts if you're interested in saving some money. It's not a lot. In this case, it's a little bit more. So you can see what's worth it for you. You can also check the occupancy levels and decide what you prefer. So you can also change some things here. You can change your destinations. You can also add if you want to go through a certain area. So say you wanted to go to Lugano, but you want to make sure that you stop. Let's say you want to stop in Artgoldau like we saw before. So then you search for a connection. Most of the trains go through Artgoldau anyway, so you're going to see the same ones. But say you wanted to add something that's not normally along the way. So say you wanted to go to Luzern first. So now you can search for a connection, and you can see this makes our trip much longer, but perhaps this is what you wanted to do. You were more in a mood for something scenic. So then now you can look and see, okay, this goes from Zurich Habe to Luzern, and then from Luzern to Lucano, and then you get to go on the path that you want to take. So then we can change this back, so you can see. Nope, we don't want to go through any place anymore. But now we want to travel on a different date. So say we want to go on Sunday, and we want to go at 9:48. So now we can see here, ooh, there's a discount. Maybe we want to do this. And we can see what time it gets us in. And of course, all the different things that you have here. You also see that there's a catering zone. So because Interregio 46 is one of my favorite trains, it's a gold train, you actually have a vending machine on there, and you have a coffee maker, which is one of my favorite things. It's pretty cheap for a cup of coffee, only a couple francs, and you can get coffee, hot chocolate, stuff like this. The vending machine also has some snacks, some beer, some wine, other types of drinks, and yeah, it's pretty nice. And then on your intercity, of course, you have the full restaurant, as you do with a lot of the larger trains. So there you go. So this is for, this is nice for longer trips where you want some more details. Usually it's a bit easier to use the app, which I'll go through in a different video. But here is one of the places that you can do the international trips. International trips aren't available on the app itself. So for international trips, you should either go in person. Sometimes I do this if my international trip's a little bit more complicated. But you can always purchase it here if you know exactly where you want to go and you're kind of familiar with the different options, and it's a pretty straightforward trip. So say we decide we want to go to Paris. So this is one of my favorite train trips, and we want to go, let's say, on Monday. So we can see that there are lots of different options, some of them with more stops than others. I highly recommend doing a nonstop trip, even though it tends to be more expensive than your trips where you have a couple stops. It's a lot less risky, and for me, it's worth it in another country to just have a stress-free travel where I don't need to make changes, because it can be a little stressful if you're not familiar with the different train stations, if there's some delays, and that can happen in a lot of different countries, especially since there's a lot of long trains and a lot of things can happen on a longer trip. So you can see here the details, so you can see where you go through, you can see the different times. And also see information about the special regulations. So with COVID, this was really helpful. So you can see more information about this. So you can see the travel advisory, what you need to do, and yeah, it makes it pretty easy all in one place. So let's go back to Paris. And we wanted to go on Monday. And we search for the connection. So you can also see that there are some super saver tickets available. So if you have a budget, this could be very useful if you want to save some money. So you can actually shop by the price and get a cheaper one. You can even get this for a direct trip and yeah, save some money. Also change the date around a little bit if you're a little price conscious. So this one is a very nice deal. You can see it's much cheaper than some of the other alternatives if you don't mind, playing around with your schedule. So that's a nice option that they have for you. So now we can go back through. So TGV is a super nice train. It's a high-speed train. You get to go really fast, and yeah, it's super comfortable. And you see here under the different things that it's the overall price, and that there's a mandatory place reservation. You have this with a lot of your French trains. Some in other countries will also have a mandatory reservation. Make sure to check this out because, yeah, you need to make sure the reserve your place beforehand. You also see here the eco calendar, so you can kind of see your eco savings compared to the car, which is super nice if you're sustainably minded. So here we can see how it looks like to purchase a ticket. So here you have to enter your passenger information and then accept. In our information, we can select our ticket options. So this will depend on what kind of travel card you have and what different offers they have available. So you can do partially full and non-flexible offers. So if you are more price conscious, you can do a non-flexible offer, but keep in mind that you can't exchange or refund, so you need to be really sure about your trip. So if you're a little bit more unsure about your trip and there's some things that you think might change, you might want to consider paying a little bit extra. I mean, it's only $6 more, and then you can do an exchange. Your tickets can be refunded and stuff like this. And then you have the fully flexible, which is quite a bit more, but you get a lot of more flexibility. So if you're really not sure about your journey and you want to make sure that you're taking the safest option, this is your safest option, but you do have to pay a little bit more to have this security. So then you can also reserve your seat, which you need to do for French trains. And then it's included, so you don't need to pay extra for your seat reservation. Sometimes you need to pay extra for a seat reservation on other trains, but here you don't. And then you can also add a return journey. So say you're going there and back, then you can add a return journey. But you can also just do an outward if you're staying there for a while, you're not sure about your plans, something like this. If you want, you can continue forward. The website is a little bit more cumbersome, and then you can purchase it right on here. You have your choices, and then you can go to purchase. Of course, you have to agree to the terms and conditions, but that's it.